Welcome back to another episode of Absolutely Nothing Podcast. Quick solo pop today with Eric the Pterodactyl Dumlau and
Michael, real Anne Hathaway Sorosky.
Steve's at work. He's grinding. So we just wanted to get some content out, some extra time on a Sunday. Plus, we have a lot to discuss.
We do. Yes. Right.
Are you giving me your presentation live on podcast?
Yeah. Explain. Well, explain why, and then I'll go over some options.
Okay. So Sorosky and I, and by the way, you're the only person I know that like does this with me. So you're the only person that I can talk to about it. Okay. Everyone else is like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Right. Yeah. Geniuses, all of them.
Yeah. So we've been doing something called NBA Top Shot, which is essentially like trading cards, like you would think baseball cards, except instead of cards, it's like digital moments. So like sick plays, like dunks or assists or shots. They're officially licensed from the NBA, so that's good. And they're built on the blockchain, so they're all numbered, and there's a limited number of them, which is what makes them rare or worth money. So it's similar to like the trading card market, but more digital and just like a step up. And this is the first sport that we've seen do this. We're guessing like a bunch of other sports will end up doing this. But, I mean, there's a bunch of cards today. I bet you, Sorosky, there's so many people who are like, baseball cards are so dumb, those are never going to be worth anything. Like in, you know.
Of course. In
like the 70s or whenever baseball cards came out. And then there's a bunch that are worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure in the 1930s, they're like, who cares about this Lou Gehrig rookie? Or, you know, like, who's going to care about this in 20 years?
I wonder when baseball cards did come out, like the first ones.
I think pretty much forever ago. But I think like with gum, it's sort of how I remember.
1948.
Okay,
when baseball cards started. And I'm pretty sure baseball was the first, right? So that's, by checking baseball cards, I'm checking sports in general.
Right.
Okay.
I would have thought it'd be earlier. Who knew?
Yeah. And for comparison, gum was invented in the 1860s. So you're, what is that, 100 years off or so?
Yeah, well, the scheme of, since the Big Bang, it's not so bad.
Very small, like on a chart. They're basically on top of each other compared to the Big Bang.
Right. So that's all I was meaning, you know?
So, Sorosky, anything to add for context on Top Shot that I missed?
Just one thing I'd add is there's already a lot of NBA engagement with some players promoting that they're in it. Mark Cuban promotes it. Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant are investors. So hopefully, this also might be a Ponzi scheme. And we're saying we hope new people come buy our cards and then we can sell them for more money because that's sort of what we think will happen. Yeah, so basically the idea is theoretically in 5 years, if this is like a common thing, NBA Top Shots, like if it's promoted on NBA TV, which it potentially could be pretty realistically, as all these cards that we have right now will be worth so much more.
Right. It's still technically, like when you go to NBATopShot.com, it still says it's in beta. So the idea we're thinking is that we're just going to be in early if it becomes a thing. If it just doesn't become a thing at all, we're screwed because we're spending money on all these cards.
But with that said, right now, some of the most expensive sales are like LeBron cards, which have gone for like $200,000. So
yeah, I was in preparation for this. I was looking at the top sales, and there were like 200,000 for the top LeBron cards.
Right, and you know, so and you also there's websites which will sort of lead into Eric's situation. Issue's a bad word for it. Eric's dilemma.
Thank you. Dilemma's perfect.
Yeah, where conundrum, where if you go on these websites, they tell you how much your collection's worth at a given time, and then it's like the stock market, and it sort of fluctuates potentially, including if a player has like a good or bad game. So it's kind of ridiculous and crazy in that sense a little bit.
So let me throw my example in then. So Terrence Mann plays on the Clippers. I think he's a rookie. Isn't he a rookie?
If not rookie, very early.
Yeah. He's newer to the NBA, and he put up like 30 points in a playoff game. And so just in the middle of the game before it was over, I jumped on Top Shot, bought one of his cards, and then the next I got it for $44. And then the next morning, when I looked at the value of it, the value went up to like 100. The value's back down to like 77. But that's the idea then, is like if I bought it for 44 and I sell it for 70 now, there's still a profit behind selling. But then it's like Sorosky said, like the stock market, you have to figure out, like, are all these just going to be worth money in 20 years because, you know, they're some of the first ones, or like, is this just the worst investment?
Right. So, yeah, we have, it's one of those two things. Oh, and the other thing is, again, I don't know if this matters or not, but a lot of kind of like crypto currency people on Twitter and the kind of smart crypto community people are into Top Shot. And the people who were in the earliest made the most money already because just everything went up and up and up initially. And there was kind of like a market crash in February. And now we're kind of like adjusting from that. But if you were an early NBA Top Shot guy, you're just super rich from all the cards you got.
Right. So we're thinking right now we're in early. And if you're asking yourself, is it too early? I would say no, because it's still in beta. And if this is your first time hearing about it, then clearly it's not like mainstream yet. But you've definitely heard of baseball cards.
But it also might be a Ponzi scheme. So watch out.
Could definitely be that as well. Because you know what? We're buying and trading things that have no real life application or value at all. They're just literally videos online. The biggest question I think people would say is like, well, can't I just go download the video of that dunk on YouTube? And yeah, you could, but the goal is like they're numbered and you own the moment.
Okay, but how much could any one moment really be worth? Because it doesn't seem
right now $200,000 is the top one.
Oh, okay. But then how much moment that you or I would own? You know, that's nothing. You know, I'm sure it's maybe $2.
Right. Oh, sorry. Before we go further, you said that this was backed by Michael Jordan, or, you know, at least advocated for by Michael Jordan and Mark Cuban.
Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant put money in like as they're big investors.
Okay. But then you said it was like Mark Cuban knew about it, which actually goes against what we're trying to say, because did you hear about what happened with Mark Cuban?
A little.
He invested in some like random coin. I forget what it was. But then just like got totally screwed. Like the coin went to zero because it ended up being a scam.
Well,
this is like last week.
Well, that's not going to happen to a guy twice. You know, that'd be really unlikely. So,
I mean, for a guy that smart,
right? Twice in 2 weeks would be preposterous.
Yeah, I think it was like if you went to the site for that coin, it said like, we have all of your money and there's nothing you guys can do about it.
Oh,
and
I heard about that.
Yeah, and then it just went to literally zero.
Okay, so that's not going to happen to Cuban twice. You know, that'd be wild.
Right. All right. So anyways, for your presentation, what you're trying to figure out, cards. So say they make like 40,000 of one moment, you get a serial number too. So the lower serial numbers are worth more. Also, if you get the serial number for the jersey, that's like the most valuable one. So Michael Jordan doesn't have any Top Shot moments, but if he did, then like serial number 23 would be worth the most. And then after that, serial number 1 would be worth the second most, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. So
well, for Jordan 45 also, he's
45 would also be worth a lot. Yeah, good call.
Thank you.
So anyways, we've been doing these, and it's kind of hard to like you try to get packs, so you wait in line, and then you have a chance of like getting a pack or not getting a pack. Most people, I think, don't get packs on most drops, But we got in for one. We both got packs last week, and I pulled a Kemba Walker with a serial number 1 on it, which I don't, Sorosky, I'm not known as a lucky person. I haven't really won anything in my life ever except my furniture that one time when the furniture store said if it snows 3 inches on the day of the Super Bowl, you get your furniture for free. And I was with you at Steve's, I think, that day. And then it just snowed all day, which was great. But that's really the only other thing I've like won in my life. Pretty unlucky overall.
Right. I wouldn't say unlucky, but I would say not lucky.
Right. Thank you. I'm middle of the road.
Right. You're like Jerry Seinfeld in the episode where he puts 20 in, he gives $20 and $20 comes back.
Right. So anyways, now the dilemma is I have this number 1 serial Kemba Walker card, and
we'll say what the value is. So Eric spent $19 on a pack,
and you get like 5 moments in it. So one of them was this moment. The other ones are like, I checked, they're worth like $4 or $3 a piece. And then
the other playoff moment has to be worth at least like 16, whatever it was.
Yeah, I got a PJ Tucker that's worth like 70.
Okay, yeah.
That I didn't even realize.
Right, yeah. So it's 70, and then like 333, and then the Kemba.
And then the Kemba Walker card is valued currently at $6,000. So we're trying to figure out what to do. Do you sell it immediately? And like you said, it's not a problem, but it's still annoying to have to figure it out.
Right.
What the right thing is to do and then live with the regret or live with a bad decision. That's just annoying to deal with.
Right. So first, let me tell you an idea I had that I ran by a buddy that he said was a bad idea. Because this product is so new, Top Shot, it's still in beta. So I don't even know what a good idea is. So I was debating for you. Would it be valuable for you to buy some of the other Kemba Walker cards with high serials? So if you could get like a Kemba Walker serial number 50 for not that much money, should you do that? And then do some of those to make your card more rare. But then my friend said that's stupid and not worth it and a waste of time. So, okay.
Okay, that's out the window.
Right. I technically think the most baller YOLO move would be to hold this card forever. You spent $19 and currently you have an asset that's worth $6,000 and growing. You can literally sell your $70 PJ Tucker, cash that out, make a bunch of money, and have an incredible asset that could potentially be worth a ridiculous amount. What year did baseball cards come out again in?
In like 1950, approximately.
So imagine if they're talking about Top Shot in the future, like they're talking about baseball cards. How valuable this number 1 serial Kemba Walker would be. Maybe this could pay for future Dumb plantations all over. Just holding this card.
For the record, I don't plan on opening any plantations.
But if you wanted to.
I thought you were going to say my kid's college, but sure.
Yeah, right. That too. Right. Both.
Or trade school, whatever they feel inclined to do.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's fine.
College.
Some kids are better than others.
Right. In this case, college. It would be.
I mean, I could send my kid to trade school on PJ Tucker money.
Yeah. Thank you, PJ Tucker.
So you think the move is to hodl?
No. I think the move is an option B.
Okay.
Where I would list it for. Well, my friend said listed for $15,000 for a month, no matter what. So even if you're trying to sell, which my ideal plan would be to try to sell it soon, and then use that money and buy maybe one Top Shot card for like $1,000, maybe $1,000 in Bitcoin, and then whatever, and then you have $4,000. You can go on vacation, use whatever you want to do. and still have a bunch of Top Shot that you can mess with, and then have additional money is probably the move. And then just live with the fact that if the Kemba Walker could pay for your kids' plantations, you still you still have some Bitcoin and you still have some Top Shot, so it's not like maybe they'll have a shack or something, at least.
Okay, so here's my other thoughts that went into what we're going to decide. Kemba Walker, you have to imagine like long term what the value is going to be. So Sorosky and I were joking, but like if Kemba Walker got caught with child pornography tomorrow and his career goes in the tank, or he has even if he just has a career-ending injury tomorrow, could that impact the price? I think it would, versus if he went and won 3 championships in his career, right?
Yes, but here's the thing. It's sort of like a stock market, and right now I think the value of Kemba Walker is so low because I think he's on like year 10 or 11. He's had like a B career. Good. Played on Boston, played in Charlotte, good markets. Played at UConn's, popular.
And to that point, his UConn career is solidified and there's nothing that can change from that. So there's people who are like UConn fans who are Kemba fans, and he's the man for that no matter what he does pro. So that's good.
And but I sort of feel the price it's sort of expected that his career's dwindling down. So even if his career kind of ends, that's fine. But if the past 2 big stars who went to Oklahoma City are Chris Paul and Paul George, and they flipped them to contenders and they're crushing. So I think that you might as well, not might as well, but I think Kemba Walker has upside versus even if he kind of goes to Oklahoma City and sucks and he doesn't play, he's injured. He still has his B career. He's fine. It's still Serial 1, still popular, still
right.
insane. You got it for $19. It's insane.
So there's not a lot of career upside that we're looking at, though.
Right. It's
I mean, unless he goes as a veteran to like a team that's gonna say the Lakers need, someone in their mid-season, and he becomes a free agent in a couple of years, and they take him. That would be ideal.
I think that's likely going to happen, though. I think Oklahoma's going to trade him before his contract's over for sure.
Right.
And as soon as they can.
Right. So that's possible. So I have it listed at 10,000 right now because that's the number where I wouldn't be sad and I wouldn't regret it, to where if someone just bought it now, there's fees involved, so I'd actually make like only 9,500 on it. But then even if it went up to 200,000, I just wouldn't be sad that I did that. You know what I mean? I could live with it at that point, but I'm not expecting it to sell for that amount either, and I'm totally fine if it doesn't sell.
Right, and you just have an insane asset. It's totally insane. Like whenever you go to any cocktail dinner, and you need to impress something, or just have a weird topic of conversation. You have something.
See, the thing is, it's even sicker because if NBA Top Shot becomes a big thing, I don't want to be the guy at that cocktail party that's like the guy that's like, yeah, like I had Bitcoin early on and I sold it all when it went up to 4,000.
Right, and you also can't be the guy who's like, hey, I'm Eric, I like NBA Top Shot. Like, shut up and talk about something else, So it's a weird. It's a Ponzi scheme still. We're like, oh yeah, right.
Oh, that, yeah.
So
and the only reason people know it is because it was in the news for being a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, but it's it's crazy. Like I was happy in my pack. I got a Trae Young playoff card that's worth like $80 or $90. I was like, tight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely, I mean, if there's a player to choose to get a playoff moment for, this is his, coming out playoff year,
Right.
So nice. But cool. Thanks for the presentation. I think we're just gonna keep it listed high, and if we end up just keeping it, we end up keeping it, letting it ride. I want to add though that I also did that with, and I know it's very short term, but I did that with Ethereum and Bitcoin recently. So that taste is in my mouth. We're like up a ton, and then the market crashes, and I'm still holding because I still think long term I'm fine. But to have something not sell and then see it crash is not a great feeling.
Right, right. And we can also learn something from this. We can be like, maybe when Bitcoin's back there, we sell a little bit so that we can, buy, because, and if it goes up more, okay, whatever.
So
Not
how
the end
could
of the
I?
world.
Because I'd have to sell the whole thing. So how about I just say, Sorosky, I have a great opportunity for you to go halvesies with me on. You can own half this card for for 3,000,
Whoa.
and then that way I get 50% of my equity out.
Whoa. Yeah, I gotta do some research and consider.
Yeah, I was mostly joking, but like,
Yeah.
because like there's no way, like you said, with Bitcoin or Ethereum, you can sell half of it, but you can't really do that here.
Right. No, I've heard people do that though on Twitter and Reddit where people are like, they're like, hey, three of us want to buy this, it's a 9K card or something, and they can't afford 9, but they can each put up 3 or something, or obviously whatever. It's a 1K card. You have 3 guys putting up 300,
Yeah,
and just that's you can sort of do that, but
sounds like a great way to lose friendships, unless all of your friends have money,
right, and figure out what when we're selling or not selling or.
So yeah.
But, yeah, it's an awesome problem to have. And then also I was looking at, there's like websites where you can look up all number one cereals. So you should check that out. And just sort of figure, like, I know that there's some guy who just tries to buy them all. So he might try to reach out to you after he listens to I'm sure he listens to the podcast regardless. Imagine
Yeah.
the surprise when he finds out that he buys number one cereals and you have one of them.
I will say AMP listeners will get a steep discount if anyone wants the card.
Yeah,
Because you can send them to people directly, so I'll do that. You got anything else that you want to cover? I got a couple things if you don't. I thought you said you had something though.
I have a couple quick things.
Okay.
First, I have a commercial that I'm not a fan of.
I love these.
I forget her last name, but she's it's Michaela the gymnast, and she has like the meme face where she's like looking annoyed.
And it's like a Subway commercial, maybe.
This one is, I don't even know what it's for, but it's
It's something that gets stuck on the roof.
it's a frisbee.
Yeah.
And I just remember here's the commercial, and I just hate the commercial. I forget what the product is, but I just hate the actions in the commercial. So it's like 2 kids playing frisbee, high school kids, and they're like on the driveway, and there's a ridiculous overthrow that there's no way you would overthrow it this bad. It ends up on the roof of their house. And then this Michaela the gymnast comes up to their driveway miraculously, and then does like a bunch of like gymnast moves. And then somehow easily gets on top of the roof, comes down with similar gymnast moves, hands them the frisbee, and then they say, "Thanks, Michaela." And then this stupid fucking kid throws the frisbee ridiculously long and preposterously onto the roof again. And then at which point, Michaela turns and gives the face. Her like annoyed meme face. And I hate the commercial.
Do you have any other reasons you hate it, or you're just saying you just hate it?
There's no way it's so impossible for the frisbee throw to be that off. And then there's no reason for Michaela to show up once she shows up, it would be impossible for her to gymnast her way up there. And then when the stupid kid again impossibly misses, it's like 0% chance of happening that the frisbee would end up on the roof, but he's trying to throw it to his friend at the driveway.
So I viewed that commercial as they were like, whoa, those were some really cool gymnast moves, and we just have an Olympic athlete on our front lawn jumping on the roof. That was awesome. So I thought they threw it back on the roof on purpose so she did cool gymnast moves and jumped onto the roof again. That's how I took it. So like you said it was 0% chance. I thought it was 100% chance they threw it back on the roof because they were trying to.
Well, then the time before then, because they obviously didn't throw it on the roof knowing that would happen.
Well, they can't know that she's just in the neighborhood.
Right. And just waiting, just sitting behind bushes like, okay, that's a good frisbee throw. Okay, that's a good frisbee throw. Okay, it's on the roof. I'm activated.
She's watching other people play. All right, that one was fine. That one was good.
Oh, that one was about to go on, but a dog jumped up and got it. So I'm still waiting, you know?
Yeah. That's funny.
And then I don't understand why she would be annoyed the second time. Once she already ridiculously got the frisbee.
Well, she's probably out of breath. Like, she probably used a lot of energy to do the first gymnast moves to get up. And then more, like you said, more gymnast moves to get off the roof. So, maybe the first time she's not as annoyed because she has the energy, but now she's a little winded and she's got to go do the same thing again.
Great point. I didn't consider that yet. The kids are assholes.
Yeah.
They witnessed a miracle, and instead of saying thank you, they said again.
They just immediately went back to throwing the frisbee. Like, for one, if you're going to do that, at least throw it to her because she got it. So she deserves a throw.
Right. Everyone knows a throw in a photo op.
Yeah, throw in a photo op. You should have had your phones out already, to be honest. Like, maybe you don't catch her jumping up on the roof, but then your phone should be out to catch the gymnast moves coming off the roof.
Right.
You're right. And shame on that company for us both seeing the commercial and not knowing what it's for.
Right. No idea.
Because I don't think it's for frisbees that go extra high.
I don't think it's for the U.S. Olympic team or Michaela.
No. That was great. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, the commercial really got to me. It reached out.
Let's see. Why don't you go with some more quick things if you got it? Because that was good.
Okay.
And I'm looking at what I got. I really don't think it's that good. I'll do one or two, just so like maybe it is good, but I don't think it is.
I think you'll like this. The other day, I don't know, I wasn't thinking about it, but these two expressions came to me when I was thinking of we need new insults and things to call people. And they should be offensive, but not too offensive, but they should be hurtful if used against you.
We need words that are hurtful and meant to be like kids would not be allowed to say them. Like they're actually bad words, but they're not. Are you saying? But also they're not like offensive to certain groups of people.
Right. So it's not ethnic slurs are out.
Right.
But you have to
homophobic slurs are out, and those were some of the best ones.
Of course, I know what you're saying, listeners. Oh man, shoot! What am I going to use now?
Right.
Don't worry, I have a couple ideas.
Oh.
We'll have one idea and then one similar negative way to describe people.
Okay.
And I think a very strong insult in 2021 is to call someone white trash.
I thought you said ethnic slurs were out. Or are you saying white ethnic slurs are still fine?
Yeah, white ethnic slurs are fine.
Okay, so this is for even people if they're not white, just calling them
white trash. It's like poor, low end.
Okay.
I don't know, I think that's powerful.
I think
Yeah.
there's still some weight behind white trash.
Yeah, I think and I think if you're in public and you commit a public error, like you're in the grocery store and you knock something over by mistake, and someone says like, hey, watch your white trash or something, you're like, whoa, oh,
Like that hurt.
yeah.
Okay.
And then my second one isn't that exactly, but it's a good way to insult someone, and that is to say that they're in a cult. So, congratulations, Eric. Your Top Shot's doing well. It's a cult. Watch out. Stay away from him.
To just automatically like dismiss something that someone's into and just call it a cult.
Steve's doing good in poker. Yeah, he got a new coach. I think he's in a cult. Okay, I don't care anymore. And if you can take anything good someone does and just say they're in a cult, and then it makes you. It's a good way to come after someone. It's just to say they're in a cult.
It's a great way to talk behind someone's back too, because imagine like you've never met, say like you have a new girlfriend that me and Steve haven't met. And if Steve could tell me, maybe Steve's met her and I haven't, and like we're going to go out and I'm going to meet her. And if Steve could tell me a million things about her, he could say, she's an Olympic athlete who rescues Frisbees in her spare time. She buys NBA Top Shots. She is a veterinarian, all these things. But if he says in there, she's also in a cult, and then I'm with you and I meet her, it doesn't matter what she could be a billionaire, and all I would remember in my head is that she's in a cult, and automatically the rest of my life she's like the girl that's in a cult. So that's a great way to automatically dismiss someone. So using cult behind people's backs is great too.
And plus, here's the thing. Let's say the person's in a cult or not in a cult. All they say is, you're crazy, I'm not in a cult. So there's no way to tell if they're actually in a cult or not.
There's no defense if someone says you're in a cult, because you sound just like people who are in cults.
Right. You have the exact same response.
That's good. That's good. Or you know what another one is? Like a child molester, or like what's the word I'm looking for?
Pedophile?
Pedophile is also like, you can't get away from that. And, obviously if you're a pedophile, you're going to say you're not. So that's another good one. That's like, it's not offending anybody because everyone hates pedophiles. You can insult someone with.
Plus, let me open with, not a pedophile. Just full transparency. Sometimes I'm like, when I'm just like, I kind of like walking around and I'm like, oh, there's a school right there. And because I'm not a pedophile, I gotta just walk by and go about my day. But if I was a pedophile, I would have to change my behavior. Like, that's like, what an inconvenience.
Says the guy who goes for walks through the cemetery daily.
Not daily, but for convenience sake.
Yeah.
Go through walks in a city and then go through walks in a cemetery and then talk to me about which one's better.
What's the right time to eat dinner? That's the one thing I had down.
Okay.
What is the right? I feel like this is probably debated, in a lot of households. But what is? And you have to put an exact time. This is local time zone assuming.
Well, I think you need a whole you need a whole plan. So you can't say, for example, if you have a 2:00 lunch, you can't have a certain dinner. So you have to, But if you want a 5:00 dinner, you can have like an 11:00 lunch.
For the average 9 to 5 worker,
6:30 dinner.
Throw a timeout.
6:30.
6:30. I think that's pretty good. I would almost lean towards 6:45.
Okay. So okay. My sort of plan is you have dinner at 6:30, and then you can do activities by 8:00 if you wanted.
True.
And then
you get the rest of your night.
Yeah. And then you can do activities later, but just by 8:00, and then if you want to hustle and do a quick dinner, do it at 7:30. Or, okay, fine. You can, or dinner and a movie. Great. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So let's differentiate then. We'll do weekday dinner where you're doing nothing, and then weekend dinner. Does the time change? Because I think it does. Like if you're going out to dinner with friends, weekend dinner, going out, that's 7:30, maybe even 8.
Yeah. Agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regular weekday dinner, 6:30.
But that's like that. Right. That's a weekend event dinner, or a vacation dinner.
Well, vacation dinner, there's no rules. Vacation, no.
Good point. Sorry. Yeah. Right. So if it's like a friend social dinner on a weekend, it's assumed
7:30.
Right. Yeah. Not 6:30.
And as much as we're agreeing, I bet you there's people who disagree with both of our answers. I feel like it's all over the board.
Yeah.
But it should be a national
pedophiles
call.
are disagreeing on the last 2 topics. They're like 0 for 2.
Yeah, we're losing all of our pedophile listeners and our cult listeners.
Yeah. What a bad day. We're just down 52% next week. We're like, oh no.
Steve's just like, what happened to our numbers? Well, we kind of alienated our 2 biggest demographics.
Yeah.
Pedophiles and cults.
And then that cost us all our Australian numbers too, because apparently they're all pedophiles and cults down there.
And there's a couple people who are pedophiles in cults, and they gave us bad reviews, actually.
Yeah.
They gave us 1-star reviews. Which, by the way, if you haven't reviewed us on Apple, please give us 5 stars. And it takes 2 seconds. Do it.
Yeah, we're the most anti-pedophile podcast you've heard today, for sure.
We promise. We're not pedophiles. And we're also not in a cult.
Even though it seems like we're focusing a little too much about how we aren't, but we aren't.
We promise. We really promise we're not.
Right. And neither is
you got anything else? I got one more quick thing.
Okay, yeah, you just finish your quick thing.
Okay. This kind of goes back to NBA. I should have done it when we were talking about Top Shot. But I don't know what's going on in these playoffs, which just overall feel really weird. Like almost weirder than the bubble in terms of like how the games are going and everything. Tell me if you disagree. I've watched, I'd say, most of the games. It feels like there's a ton of games where a team will be like up 20 points and then the other team will come back. And it's either a close game and competitive towards the end, or the other team comes back and wins. There's been plenty of those instances where like in the first half a team is up 20, which usually should mean like game's over, even if they go on a little bit of a run or whatever. But like there's 15 to 20 point leads teams are coming back from a lot. Do you feel the same way?
Definitely. There was some, I think one of the Clippers Nuggets games was the Nuggets were up by like 20, 25 or something, and the Clippers won by like 13.
Right. And there's been a couple of them.
Right. And then even the game yesterday, it was so low scoring that it was like a 1980s game where score was like 80 to 72 or something.
Right.
And every other game was like 190 to 164.
Right. So I have a new strategy for coaches for the 20 point. Because if you're a coach, I just don't understand how you give up a 20 point lead. And I feel like, I get it, momentum or whatever. But if I'm a coach, and tell me what you think about my strategy, how many timeouts do you get in the NBA? Do you know?
I think 6.5, but that sounds high. Maybe 4.5, 8 total.
Each team is entitled to 7 timeouts during regulation play. Each team is limited to no more than 4 timeouts in the fourth period.
Okay. So you're saying you would be more liberal, or you use your timeouts more efficiently?
Well, usually what happens in these games is like, okay, a team goes on a run and they score 6 points in a row or something. Okay, so say you're up 20, right? If you're up 20 and then the other team scores 5 points in a row and now you're only up 15, normally the coach calls a timeout there. and then, let's stop the momentum. Let's like regroup and get other players in or change our strategy and slow the game down. But then like the team comes back out and then the 15-point lead gets cut to like a 10-point lead, then 5-point lead, whatever. If I were the coach, what I'd be doing in these scenarios is I would just use all of my timeouts. Like no matter what it takes, I don't care if I have none left at the end of the game, to just stop this 20-point comeback. So like, maybe if I'm up 20 and the other team scores 5 in a row, and then I'm only up 15, I use my first timeout. But then like literally the next basket they score, I'm using another timeout. And then the next basket they score, I'm using another timeout. And I might use all 7, or, I might use all my timeouts, like as much as possible immediately.
And if your team scores offensively, you can kind of pause the strategy.
Right. But clearly teams aren't doing this.
It's worth a shot.
Right. So I think with the evolution of the game, this might be my new strategy. I wish a coach would try it, but
this is the Dumlow. Hey, Greg Popovich, we know you listen.
We know you're not in the playoffs,
and we know you're not a pedophile. So great.
Yeah, but yeah, just wanted to see if you had any holes to poke in it, or if I'm on like this is me coming up with like Hack-a-Shack, just on absolutely nothing.
I'm not saying it'll work. But I'm saying, why not try it? And it might work. It probably won't work, but they probably said that about the slam dunk and the 3-point shot.
Or they probably said that about teams like taking more threes. Remember, there was a point where it was like, oh, teams take too many threes, or like they should go for higher percentage shots. Now everyone's just like, shoot as many threes as you possibly can. That's the name of the game.
Did I tell you real quick, when I was in Vegas, I would play NBA 2K for money against people, and I would be the Warriors, and that's right when they drafted Steph. So they were terrible, except for they had Steph and Monte Ellis, who was similar to Steph Curry. And so I would just destroy everyone with the shitty team because I would just shoot with them all the time. And everyone else would like try to do post moves and stupid plays like that. And I would just crush everybody.
Wow, that's good to know, because we had some competitive 2K games, so I didn't know that you were like a paid professional at one point. If I can keep up with you, that's not bad.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, in Vegas, I remember one of the funniest days at the casino at Bellagio. Some guy's like, I play online, I'm pretty good. And I'm like, I'm probably the best guy in the house. Like, I'll play you for fun, He's like, I went online, blah, blah, blah. I beat it. The first quarter was like 40-9. It was like a destruction. Like, he couldn't keep up. It was, he was literally like the Spurs with like Duncan, doing stuff. And I'm like Steph and Monta Ellis and
just launching threes.
Yeah. And his team was ranked like 4 and my team was ranked like 27. But because like everyone else was useless, but I didn't need them.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. So fuck those people.
Should we wrap it up, or you got anything else?
No, I think that okay.
I got one more thing. I found this is like good for the end. Like, you don't lead with this. You know what I mean? Like, this is like all these things that I'm throwing in here. Like, you don't lead with it, but this is left over for a Sunday podcast.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what you mean.
If there was a real purge, like, because there's a commercials out now for like the Forever Purge movie,
right?
Which means that the purge just lasts forever. But if there was a real purge, like a 24-hour purge, how close to like the movies do you think it would actually be? And do you think there's anything that would be different from what actually happens in the movies? And for anyone that hasn't seen the Purge movies, basically all crime is legal for 24 hours. And in the movies, most people just, stay in their homes, but there's like groups of gangs and people who prepare for the purge and then just go out and murder people for this 24 hours. And there's just groups of that. Am I missing anything?
That's probably pretty good. I think aside from there'd be like way more domestic violent crimes, sadly. Like, then could be like way more like rapey crimes, sadly.
Yeah.
I think there definitely would be way more like pre-purge like things to buy and like products and like instruction classes and like YouTube videos and
That's a good point. I don't remember what it was like in the movies. I think most of them had like a lot of people had like a bunker or like things to protect their house. But to your point, security would just be way like everyone would have an insane fence. Like they made it seem like people just live in regular houses. But if every year people were allowed to murder people for a day,
Right. Or-
everyone would live in a fortress.
also we would make absolutely nothing bunker or like absolutely nothing hotel that's like lock and key safe, like guarantee, like you got like it's like a hotel when your room is just 100% safe. Like
There'd be I haven't seen all the purges, but definitely there would be that. There'd be like places you could go that were 100% safe. But I don't know. I mean, maybe the guards, they're allowed to flip on you and kill you. It wouldn't be against the law. So I don't know.
right. No, but there's got to be some like Elon Musk guarantee that your thing is safe because
Like maybe you schedule transfers the day after the purge to pay out only if you're alive.
right. No, or it's like you're in a hotel room and just like no one has the keys to the room.
You're the only one. It's like you put in your own passcode and not even the people at the hotel have the code.
Right, exactly. And then you have like there's like food in the refrigerator, like a bag of chips, the sandwich, and then a bathroom, and then in 24 hours after the purge you leave, and no one can come in.
That's good. I also think there'd just be a ton more like white collar crime if all crime is legal.
Oh yeah,
Like-
good point. Yeah,
Like everyone's just gonna,
every
act
disgruntled
on
employee-
privileged stock advice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Hey, Jeff Bezos, why did you sell 80 billion Amazon shares on Purge Day?
Exactly.
And they're gonna be like, some of these congressmen are gonna be like, oh, that was a coincidence. You're saying it like it's also like not a crime to like do like legal trades on Purge Day, and you're like, okay, that's true.
Right.
Like if we sold Amazon stock on Purge Day, that's fine.
They don't talk enough about how people would just be parking wherever they want to.
Wow.
Anywhere
Yeah,
you want.
People just go to museums and stuff.
Or like theft. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, and I think I only saw the first two, but like
I would not want to be like a Ferrari, the car dealership.
Right. And
Or a
again,
bank.
everywhere would be a fortress for this exact reason.
Right, or a bank.
A bank probably doesn't have that much cash on hand, and everyone's going to the bank, but
Right,
there's
I'm
plenty
saying
of things
it
to
wouldn't be
steal.
safe.
Yeah. I think if it was a purge, I think you'd be safe, but like if you did decide to steal something, I don't think you'd be greedy. Like you wouldn't go to the bank, but you would find some way to go get something that's like going to be valuable for a long time. You go steal like the trading cards, you would go steal the assets.
I'd steal from my local small business, something that'll be helpful, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, some be helpful, but nothing too crazy. You go hack my account and steal my #1 serial Kemba Walker moment.
Yeah, right. Right. Not that, a different person's.
You're like, I know the passwords for the absolutely nothing accounts. I could probably figure out his personal passwords.
Yeah. Except for not because it's so secure because of blah, 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 NFT, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And there's no purge, so you can't do it right now.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, for 2 reasons.
It's illegal right now, currently.
Right. It's also pretty crazy. Real quick to your Kemba card. I saw him play at UConn a ton. Probably 20 times.
In person?
In person, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because UConn was weird because probably 2/3 of their home games were on campus at stores, and then 1/3 were at Hartford, like the big city, bigger than stores. And so I went to like all the Hartford games.
Nice.
Yeah, so I saw your rare card, Good card. Kemba, big fan.
Yeah, big Kemba guy, huh?
Yeah. And now also because so just to conclude on that part, or and that it's now in Eric's interest for Kemba Walker to like end up on the Lakers. If Kemba Walker's traded to the Lakers and LeBron's like, yeah, he's my like number 2 guy, this card goes up in value and Eric's like really happy.
Unless I've already sold it. In that
Right.
case, I'm really sad.
Right. So like,
And that's just part of the game.
right. And hopefully nothing happens to Kemba during the purge. Yeah. So anything else different? Anything else back to the purge to conclude?
And hopefully he's not in a cult.
Right. Yeah. He's not in a cult.
No, that's all I had for the purge. I just think not everyone would just go murder people. There'd just be so many other things that the movies never explored. But again, maybe I just haven't seen the new
I've
ones.
got a good one. There'd be a lot of business on business vandalism. Like if you're like the local tire shop, and there's like one other tire shop in town, what are you gonna do? Not go fuck up the other tire shop on Purge Day?
Well, maybe there's purge agreements. Maybe they sign purge agreements. Also, insurance companies. Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about this? Okay. Do you want to sell tires in town? There's a monopoly. You're gonna take out the 2 big tire guys.
You have to.
Everyone's like gotta be on high alert the entire time.
Imagine how much purge insurance would cost, and then how much it would cost for insurance companies.
Yeah, oh my god. And then the insurance companies famously don't pay anything out. So they would just like be like, yeah, I know your business got looted during the purge, but the electricity wasn't on, so we can't pay it out. So
They would find a way.
yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm good then. That's all my all my little stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that was good. I think that was a good Sunday. Feed the streets. If anyone's got $6,000 and wants a Kemba card, we know a guy.
No, for A&P listeners, we'll do 55.
50. Okay.
55.
Everyone else 10,000.
I'd be surprised if we had any listeners that wanted it for 55 though. They all went to most of our people went to trade school, you know what I mean?
Yeah, God. What our listeners would do for $55,000, $100.
But also joking because it's so crazy. Have you ever seen like whenever I hear of someone and their job that's like a trade school job, they're like, "Oh yeah, I just worked overtime and it was like 100 an hour or something." I'm just like, "How are you not rich then? This is crazy." Like people who do those jobs make so much money.
Yeah.
Like people who work on cars because there's only like people need to get their cars fixed. They don't know how to do it. And it always costs so much.
What are you gonna do? Not pay $1 bajillion?
Right. So yeah. All right. We'll wrap it up.
We're out.
What'd you say?
We're out.
We're out. Nice ending. I was going to say, all right, bye guys, but you're going to go with we're out.
Right. We're out.
All right. We're out.